Hey guys, Matt from Eastwood here in my home garage working on another quick little project. So what we're going to show you guys how to do today is a cool little way that you can use the Eastwood punch flare or punch bead dies. What these are is it's a knockout punch that actually creates a flare on the inside of the hole or a bead around the outside of the hole. There's two reasons to use these tools. Number one is it gives it a lot of strength to a panel, so you don't need to use thicker gauge material to get the strength you need. You can actually punch these holes and it gives the panel a ton of strength. The second reason is it kind of ups the quality of your work and gives an extra little custom touch when you're doing braces or things like that in a car. It makes something that's normally kind of ordinary look a lot cooler. So what I'm going to do today is a different little idea is I'm going to show you guys how to make this custom kind of traditional hot rod dash that would have gauges all the way across the dash. So we're going to be using the Eastwood bead roller, the shrinker stretcher, of course the punch bead dies, and we're going to show you how you can pretty simply make a really cool looking custom hot rod dash. So let's get started. Alright, so we got our lines laid out on the dash and I'm pretty happy with how everything's going here. So I have a bunch of different lines going. When you look close at this, it can be confusing. I made some notes for myself where everything's going to be. So we have a flat piece of metal here that's cut out to the rough shape that I need. And what I want to do is start by doing my edges that are going to get tipped in on the dash. So we're going to start with these lines on the top and the bottom, and we're going to tip those edges in. The reason that we're doing that is because we want to be able to adjust the shape of this dash when we're done. If we just simply roll these lines or tip them in the bead roller, what's going to happen is because these are on a curve, it's going to make the dash get a curve to it as well. It's going to pull it into a curve. That's really great if the curve just happens to match the shape of the vehicle you want, but if you're trying to make it match the shape of a vehicle or fit a pre-existing cowl in a car, you need to adjust it with the shrinker stretcher. So we're going for something that's in like a 20s or 30s style car, so we're going to be making this dash relatively flat when we're done. So I'm going to put this through here, get it rolled, and we'll show you where we're at after we have the flanges tipped. Now one little tip that I'm doing here that might be helpful to you guys. If you have a soft lower wheel in your bead roller, and this works for any bead roller, whether it's the Eastwood power bead roller we have here, any of our Elite series, they're all the same for this technique. So if you have a soft lower wheel and a sharp upper wheel, what you can do is your first pass through, you can put a bit of tension where you're kind of digging into the soft lower wheel, and when you just run it through, focus on your line most importantly. Just naturally, because this top wheel is digging into the soft lower wheel, it's going to start that tip for you. You don't need to pull up on the panel. That first time you run through the bead roller, tipping the edge is probably the most important because you're giving yourself a track that you're going to run in the whole time. And if you get off on that first pass by pulling up too hard, it's going to be off the whole entire time. So what I like to do is go through without pulling up at all with tension on the bead roller, so it's pushing down into the soft lower wheel. That's going to kind of V the panel just naturally, and you can just roll it through and focus on following your line. And then as you start working, you guys will see I kind of pull up on the panel as I go until I get to about a 90. All right, so as you guys can see, it only took a couple of steps to make this really cool custom dash that would go great in any 20s, 30s style hot rod. There was a couple little steps that I mentioned along the way that you do need to make sure you do to make sure that the dash stays kind of straight and is going in the direction you want and you don't end up with a potato chip. But after we're all done, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Using the punch bead dies is a really cool thing. When you go to put gauges in this, the beads will kind of picture frame and go around to match the bezels on the gauges, and I think it'll look really darn cool. To see all the products you saw in this video, you can click the link down below, and you can also visit Eastwood.com to get all the tools you need to do the job right. Thanks, guys.